Well, it's been a long time since our dog has had his hair cut. So we finally got a hold of some clippers and gave him a haircut. We thought, boy, his hair is so thick that he's looking like he's really getting fat. And oh my goodness, it really piled up. But then we found out when he trimmed his hair back, he really is getting fat. Now I'm afraid to get a haircut. The Bible says that a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. That's from Proverbs 17:22. It's true that we're living in uncertain and grim times. There are people who are struggling to live each day in our community, in our nation, in our world. People are dying. Businesses are closing or are financially unstable, and people have lost jobs at a very fast rate. We don't know when any of this will end or what the outcome will be, and we're worried and stressed. Every day, we make decisions that may have heavy consequences. Is it okay for me to go to the store? Am I 6 feet away from this person? There are often no definite answers, so every decision that we make has weighty implications. We worry every day. My household, like many, has a vulnerable person in it. My extended family, like many, includes people who are essential workers in grocery stores, nursing homes, clinics, and hospitals. This is a heavy worry. And yet, in the midst of this, have you laughed some over the last couple of months and then maybe even felt a little guilty for laughing? This may sound strange, but it's okay. In fact, it's good and healthy and maybe even life-saving to laugh, even at some of the worst times. I want to bring up a picture here of Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl is someone who wrote about how humor helped him survive, even in the absolute worst of circumstances. He was in a concentration camp, and he stated that he never could have made it through that time if he did not have laughter. It's also said that during the Vietnam War, prisoners of war tapped out jokes in Morse code on the walls between them to make it through their days. Laughter is an important coping skill, a break from all of the stress that our minds and bodies are under. Even if it's just for a moment, what does laughing do to help us? For years, doctors have endorsed the positive effects of laughter. The Mayo Clinic says that a good laugh has great short-term effects. When you start to laugh, it doesn't just lighten your load mentally. It actually induces physical changes in us. Laughter can stimulate your heart, your lungs, and muscles, and increase the endorphins that are released by our brains. Laughter can activate and relieve your stress response. A rollicking laugh fires up and then cools down our stress response, and it can increase and then decrease our heart rate and blood pressure. The result? A good and relaxed feeling. That sounds familiar, I hope. Laughter can soothe tension. Laughter can stimulate circulation and aid muscle relaxation, both of which can help reduce some of the physical symptoms of stress. Over the long term, laughter can improve your immune system and even relieve pain. Laughter may ease pain by causing the body to produce its own natural painkillers, to increase personal satisfaction and to improve our mood. Laughter also helps us to connect with others, even if virtually. If someone is laughing, we want to join them. If our kids and grandkids see us laughing, then they will feel better too. Of course, we don't laugh at everything these days. Much of life is not funny right now. And yet there can also be room to laugh. Matt Estey, a program director of the Manager 360 Clinic, says it's a yes and situation. We don't have to choose. Yes, we can utilize one of the most adaptive coping skills known, humor. And we can also maybe intersperse within that levity the acknowledgement that this is a hardship and that we're all participating in to varying degrees. Or I'd say a no-but situation. In other words, no, we don't have to laugh at ventilators or joblessness or domestic violence or at the expense of others. But we can laugh at Netflix binging or our pets getting tired of having us around or experiences from the quarantine life. Let's see, I was going to bring up one more picture of a pet here. This is, can you see our cat up there? Apparently she noticed the cat on the clock, and she's not having any of it. There's things to laugh about at times. So where do we find laughter these days? Experts have many suggestions. Watch funny YouTube videos or movies or TV shows, stand-up comedians, read funny books or comic strips, or display things that make you laugh, funny cards, quotes, or books. Or, as I showed before, things that our pets do with funny behaviors. You can watch and listen to children. They can also make us smile and laugh. Reminisce about true stories from situations in your past that gave you a good laugh. Call family and friends. Tell jokes to each other. Laugh at yourself. We are all probably unintentionally doing goofy things. What does the Bible say about laughter? Well, there are several places where the Bible picks up laughter, and not laughter in a way that's mocking. Eldon Trueblood was a Quaker theologian from Iowa, and over 55 years ago, he wrote a book that was titled The Humor of Christ. I remember this in my dad's library. And in this book, he makes the case that Jesus used forms of humor, especially hyperbole, in his parables. Think of the comic images of a camel trying to go through the eye of a needle, or of an entire plank needing to be removed from your own eye, yet you're still complaining about a tiny speck in someone else's eye. Or a baker putting yeast into what is a ridiculous amount of flour, and it's growing and growing and growing. You can almost see like Lucy and Ethel trying to get it all back up on the table or back in the room. Or the boasting Pharisee praying next to the repentant tax collector. Contrasted. And other stories like this. In order to get a joke, we have to change our perspective. The ha-ha can be something like the aha. So to see what's absurd in our lives, we exaggerate and stretch that absurdity so that its ridiculousness becomes obvious. Or to see what is overly solemn or tragic, we might need to see our lives in a different light, perhaps in a light-hearted way. Jeremiah had the term Jeremiad coined after him. That word means someone who is spouting all kinds of righteous denunciation and judgment. He had lots and lots of bad news to share to the people of Judah. Yet it was Jeremiah in chapter 31, verse 13, who told us of God's words. I will turn their mourning into joy. I will comfort them, and I will give them gladness for sorrow. Be lighthearted this week, my friends. Be all heart and offer light wherever you go.